The Fishing Paper Show is proudly brought to you by United Fisheries, bringing fresh fish to your plate.
Hi and welcome, I'm Crimpy. Nice to have you along. Coming up in the show, do coarse fish swear a lot? And bullies, school bullies and bullies in schools. Well, we visit a few, trout schools in particular. But at first, if you want to catch up on what's hot and what's not in fishing circles, whose rods has a bend in it, don't forget every month you can pick up your free copy of the fishing paper from any Smith City Shore store or a Hamills near you. Now, my guests this week on the show, Steve Gaskell on the far left. Welcome.
Nice to see you.
And Rick Vandersweet, good to have you along.
Yeah, thanks.
Show superstitions. Now, did you know that it's superstitious to have somebody wish you good luck before you go on a voyage? Did you know that?
No.
If somebody wishes you good luck when you're heading out on the boat, it's bad luck. Now, the only way to overcome that, apparently, is to draw blood. So a punch in the nose will sort that one out. Now, we do have a show superstition, and that is it's a bad luck for the guest to be on the show for the first time without bringing me a present. So, boys, Steve, a present, what have you got?
The one thing that we can't go without, pair of Polaroids.
Pair of Polaroids. There you go.
There you go, mate. Stick those on the wall.
OK, so I'll do my best Ray Charles impersonation.
Beautiful.
7 Spanish angels. And Rick, moving to you.
Can you stop singing?
Yeah, I will. I just realised that it's probably not a good look.
I've bought you a new sign. Singers, you needed something old and sort of out there for around the set, so there you go.
Oh, thank you.
It's old and crusty, a bit like you.
Thank you. Well, and hang on a second. Oh, sorry, I've got something in the fat controllers in my ear. I'm sorry, something has gone terribly wrong. And here we have a fearless hunter who looks like he's bagged a deer. Now, would you like to explain that one, Ricardo, seeing as you gave me a hard time about being old and tatty?
Well, that actually was a deer I shot at Fiordland this May. We were down there, went in with a boat.
Well, explain the netting. You need a little bit of a helping hand. You can't
I was stuck in a fence.
You're stuck in a fence, yeah. Something had driven it in there, I think, isn't it?
Now, a stag had driven it in there. I think he was trying to get his way with it, but it didn't quite work his way.
And the stag's name was Steve Terry, but moving right along. All right, getting on to Steve Gaskell. Now, you're not a hunter, you're a fisherman, but a fishing with difference. It's a fishing that I've never really been able to get my head around. That's coarse fishing.
Yep.
So briefly, what exactly is coarse fishing?
It's something that originated out of Europe and the UK. Basically, you sit on the side of a lake, river, canal. Here in NZ, sit on the side of the lake, pick a position, and you bait it for the day.
All right, we've got some pictures of coarse fishing in action, so I need you to talk me through these. Now, that's a typical coarse fish.
Yeah, this is a carp. Looking at that, probably in the region of about 10 to 15 pound.
Good sized carp?
Yeah, decent sized carp over here. I think the biggest fish over here is probably in the mid-20s.
Yeah.
They give a good fight.
Now, the gear you use too looks a little bit different from what us normal fishermen use.
Yeah, it is slightly. As you can see here, this is sort of a seat box station that you'd sit on, so you get a wooden platform, and then you come along with your pretty expensive gear and sit on a wooden platform. But with two different styles of rod. There's the general fishing rod that you know for your trout fishing, and then there's the carbon poles. Now, they can go anything up to 17, 18 metres, and there's just a piece of elastic through it.
OK, so let's have a look at some of the stations you've got there. Obviously, with the poles like that, you guys aren't very good at casting. so you have to get right out accuracy.
Yeah,
so what's this here?
This is a setup that I took a photo of the other day. This one obviously hasn't got a wooden platform. So you've got a seat box and then a rest in front of you where you can sort of rest your rods when you're not sort of casting or striking into a fish, and then you can see a side tray with a bait on. But everything's really made for comfort. It's all about making sure everything's
look
to
at
hand.
that.
Yeah, these boxes are...
You obviously can't afford boats.
They're probably as expensive as a boat.
Yeah.
And you don't do anything with it.
What would you pay for something like that?
Oh, you'd be looking at something like that. You're probably looking at $900.
Yeah, ridiculous. Okay.
Pretty much. And then you got to get it here.
Well, and this is a local fishing platform?
This is the big lake that we've got here in Christchurch. We've been doing a lot of renovation with the City Council over the last 12 to 18 months. So we've now got platforms that have been made, and we've got disabled access as well now.
Okay, well, very quickly before we go, let's have a look at some of the other end of the pole, what you use.
Basically, these are sort of just a different range of floats that we use on the rod. So you've got a waggler for typical lake fishing, you've got a stick float for rivers, and then this is a new pellet waggler for fishing up against islands. Yeah. And then the other range we've got are what we'd use on the carbon poles, and you've got a whole range of different shapes of floats, ranging from your big floats ready for the deep waters down to your small ones for shallow. And then these are the new floats that have come out for river fishing. And what they do is they follow the flow, but the tip stays vertical, and they're just a lot more accurate, better bite indication. And then the other option is when you're fishing a feeder rod, similar to fishing a lead in the sea, but we'd use a feeder that you can fill with maggots or corn, and then you've got the open end feeder, which you use for filling with burley, and you're just casting that out continuously throughout the day, and it just puts bait on the bottom, brings the fish into the bait. But the intention is you bring the fish to you rather than chasing the fish.
I can see that. Not only can't you cast, but you have to lure the fish right up to the hook as well.
Yeah, it's all about that. There's no point walking 20 k's for a trout and not catching anything.
No, well, what about the exercise? You're not into that?
There's no point.
All right. OK, well, it's time for our viewers' vid this week, and it's a case of some vintage groper.
Just colour. Oh, it's a nice fish, Dad. Woo! Woo! Look at that! Yeah! Good fish. Wow! Redler! That's
Send us your viewers' vids to PO Box 9001 Annesbrook, Nelson, or email us a YouTube link to crimpy@extra.co.nz. Well, there you go, some very happy groper fishermen. They obviously weren't coarse fishermen. It's time for a cup of tea. I'll have mine with a splash of milk. Coming up after the break, young Daniel Crimp goes snapper fishing and catches something that he didn't bargain for, and Fiordland beckons.